Let's talk about the biggest sin a human being can ever commit. There is one thing that is way worse than failing, and that's being utterly useless. And I do not mean like useless as in you don't have talent. No, I mean useless as in like you don't even try to be useful. That's what I mean by useless. Okay, because someone is trying, that's at least is trying to be useful. But I mean useless as in you do not even try to be useful. In my opinion, and honestly, I think my opinion is right, by the way, being useless is a sin. Okay? Being useless without knowing it, that is the sin of ignorance. Okay? But the biggest sin of all, let me tell you, is knowing and still choosing to be useless. Especially if you say something along the lines of, it's just how I am. This is how I was born to be. You were given a choice. You were born with a choice and you chose to be this way. Let's get a little biblical, okay? Let's talk about it. Okay. In the book of Proverbs, they say, the sluggard's craving will be the death of him because his hands refuse to work. That's in Proverbs 21 verses 25. Yeah. In other words, wanting without working is self-destruction. Let me tell you something. Curiosity was given to us. Okay, it was given to us as the cure for ignorance. God gave you a mind to think, the will to move, and the hands to build. Refusing them is rebelling against your own potential. It's not even rebelling against God. No. For all we know, he might not even be paying attention to you. You're rebelling against your own potential. Now, there are two sides to the coin, okay, of weakness. One side, it's typical, one side says that being weak is okay. And, there are other people like, no, being weak is wrong. If you've heard of the channel, what's the channel again? Far From Weak. I really love his channel, by the way. Okay. So these two coins, there are two sides of the coin, and they are both right. It's okay to be weak because weakness is where we all start. Okay? We're all weak little baby. When we're born into the world, we are literally the weakest, most fragile thing on the planet. But staying weak when you know that you can grow, that is shameful. That is why it is not okay to be weak. Let me throw in another quote. This is from Lao Tzu, okay? He said, knowing others is intelligence, but knowing yourself, that is true wisdom. Now, if you know yourself and you know that you are weak as hell, yet you do nothing about it because you are complacent and you say it is okay and this is just the way that I am, and you decide to stay like that, you have already betrayed yourself. The Stoics, they believe that every man or woman who fails to act on their own virtues is sinning against nature itself. Okay? You were not meant to just exist. You were not meant to just exist, okay? You were meant to create, to build, to grow, to become. So, if being useless is a sin, how exactly do you repent from it. And let me tell you, it is not by praying for a miracle, and it is not by waiting for motivation. It's by acting. You do the savage, unglamorous work of challenging yourself from the inside out. That's what you gotta do. Now let's get a little savage, okay? Let's talk about 5 savage moves to stop being useless. Number 1, ruthlessly audit yourself. You need to be ruthless with this. It's gonna be painful, but you gotta face the music. You gotta face the truth, okay? Because it's the truth will set you free. You need to stop lying to yourself about where you are. I want you to write down all your flaws, your addiction, your laziness of your fears. You can't write what you won't face. Okay? The Stoics keep journals for this exact reason, to confront their weaknesses daily. And if you still find yourself too weak to write down your own flaws, I want you to open the door to your room. I want you to walk out. I want you to find the nearest person that you can find who knows you, and I want you to ask them. Ask them what your flaws are. Okay? I want you to ask them, and I want you to face that music. If you can't face it by yourself, face it with someone. Number 2, I want you to build competence before confidence. Okay? The modern world has lied to you. Just believe in yourself. No. Believe in your skills. Believe in the data that you have seen. Confidence built on competence is unbreakable. I want you to train. I want you to learn. I want you to fail. I want you to master. Then you can speak. Because competence is what builds confidence. Data is what builds confidence. Skills is what build confidence. Experience is what builds confidence. Training is what builds confidence. Learning and failing over and over again is what builds confidence. So build your competence before you build your confidence. Number 3, starve comfort and feed growth. Okay, so comfort, I'm pretty sure if you've been following this channel, you know that comfort is a sin and is basically something that we shouldn't indulge in. Comfort, I am telling you, is spiritual rust. You need to start delaying yourself of gratifications, okay? Start denying those easy wins. Take those cold showers. Start fasting. Discipline yourself. And not because, these things are trendy and, now everyone is doing personal development about these things. Do these things because they remind you that you can control yourself. Okay? The more that you say no to you, the more that you show yourself control. Number 4, seek burdens worth carrying, okay? In ancient scripts, okay, in the ancient times, every prophet was given a burden before a blessing. Responsibility is the mark of maturity, okay? Carry something heavy, whether it's a dream, a mission, a goal, whatever it is, because weight is what builds strength. And this also applies in the gym. What applies in the gym can be applied in real life. Number 5, lastly, I want you to surround yourself, okay? I want you to surround yourself with builders and not consumers, okay? Having bad company will corrupt good morals, okay? And let me get biblical again. In 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verses 35, if your circle only consumes, you'll consume too. If your circle builds, you'll build. Choose your environment like your life depends on it, because it does. That last sentence isn't in them, by the way. That's all me. Choose your environment like your life depends on it, because it does, okay? Period. So yes, being weak is okay. Being ignorant is forgivable. But staying there when you know better, that is the real sin. And the world doesn't need you to be perfect. It needs you to be useful. It needs usefulness. People who wake up and say, I won't be a waste of what I've been given. So I need you to wake the hell up and get to work. Repent from your uselessness and build something worthy of breathing in your lungs. Now that's it for this video. I thank you once again for making it this far into this video. If you've liked it, please give it a like. And if you haven't subscribed, do subscribe. And if you have anything you want to say, if you want to say hi, if you have any thoughts, you have something you want to talk about, you know where the comment section is. And yeah, I'll be seeing you in my next one. Bye.